So how many of you subscribe to the Agile methodologies? Doesn't mean the rituals.
Yeah.
The methodologies in my sense, right? That's the difference between big A and little a. Big A is you have to have the stand-up feeling with the whole thing. People just do it for the sake of doing it. Little A is that mindset. Can any of you give me what you think one of the top principles of Agile mindset? Any voice?
Feedback.
Feedback. Shorten the feedback.
Yes.
Awesome. And how did we used to do that 5 years ago? Talk to the VA would talk to the business. They would go off and write the specifications, hand them back to the business. Business would say, yeah, that sounds okay. Hand it back to the engineer to develop it. Developer would do it just like it was written. The BA would say, yeah, that's just how I wrote it. We'd give it back to the business and they'd say, no, that's not what I want. That was a long feedback. Even with Agile, that was a long feedback, let alone what. But what if we can use, so we talked about generating context. AI can generate code, right? You all know that, we talked about that. Does it extremely well when if you're an adult and you understand, right? Now you could take what someone says, generate it real quick, and give it back to them. That's a much shorter feedback. Again, using AI to generate code to produce and validate the shared understanding of the requirement and then the shared understanding of if that requirement is met. That's the feedback. That's very practical. That's very powerful, very pragmatic. That's the opportunity we have now. And that's not even getting into this really cool Agentic AI. This is just solving these pain points we've had for decades throughout our career.
Yes. Also, no, that's bang on target. Basically, it all comes down to the same thing, that because AI is so good at understanding your, like, remember 3 years ago when ChatGPT just came along, we were like, I'm telling you to create a poem and it's bringing it out. So it was so much novelty. The novelty is gone, but now the real applications are, you are able to get something out of a machine so quickly, and that's where the whole world changed, good way or bad way, we can all discuss.
How many product owners, PAs do we have? Any of them? Even if you just perform that function because you had to, right? How have you seen your approach change with AI?